Social media platform giant Instagram recently announced that it's looking at new ways to discourage its users from focusing on their physical appearance and body shaming themselves. Joining us now to discuss this is the founder of Reach Out Technology and cyber tech expert Rick Jordan, Kristen Ruby, also CEO of Ruby Media Group and social media consultant. Thank you both for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you on here. Such a serious topic. So always ladies first. So Ruby, we'll start with you. Now this comes as an internal memo was leaked indicating Instagram believed that its app was toxic for young girls. What can Instagram actually do to change this? Because they've done little to address it.
This has been a very bad week for Facebook. With the leak of the Facebook files every single day this week, the issue with Instagram and body image for young girls is just one of many different issues that have come about in terms of what is truly going on behind the scenes and under the hood at Facebook. Of course, that means Instagram is included. So to answer your question, what can Instagram truly do to address this? I mean, they have to really go to the root cause here. The challenge is that they've hidden evidence from people for many years, basically saying that they know that this is an issue and that they know that this does impact young women and their body image. But if they know that, why have they hid that from the American people? That, to me, is the first question that we have to truly answer before we can even look at what can Instagram truly do to solve this problem.
Yeah, absolutely. Rick, I mean, body shaming is not just a girl issue, you know, it's also impacting our young boys as well. How can we convince, or better yet, how can we as a community on social media address this problem?
Yeah, I'm a parent. I have two 14-year-olds, and a couple of days ago I said that one of the 13-year-old gifts was an Instagram account. It's within the terms of service. They couldn't get one until they were 13. But I feel it comes down to parenting and also the responsibility of Facebook and Instagram themselves to maybe take some cues from YouTube, because YouTube with Google accounts has limitations depending on what age you are, like a YouTube for kids. My 11-year-old can't see the same things that my 14-year-olds can.
Yeah, and that's actually a great point. I know my sister did that for my niece as well, which controls what she's able to watch, even if she's in the room by herself. Kristen, this is obviously not just an Instagram problem. Why aren't other social media platforms acknowledging this very issue?
I'm not sure that they're not acknowledging the issue. I think social media platforms have so many issues. And I think that these companies, you know, there was that title at one point, are they too big to fail? And I think the real challenge that we have is that we can't leave it up to big tech companies to truly parent American children. What we need is people parenting their own children. And I think this notion that the onus of the responsibility is somehow on Silicon Valley is misguided at best.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, Congress has tried to address this issue, but it's just too broad to truly get a handle on it. I mean, they try to do it with the Communications Decency Act, but who ends up being responsible? Kristen, you want to answer that? I can see your expression.
Well, they did. Yeah, they did try and do it. And former President Donald Trump tried to change a lot with Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act. What we had then is President Biden, who came in and rolled back some of the things in that social media censorship and executive order that Trump was really fighting for. And everyone should be asking why. Why is it that on the one hand, we have a president right now who says that they care about these issues, but on the other hand, they're actually rolling back protections that would have helped solve some of these critical issues that we're discussing today?
Rick, do social media websites have too much power?
I feel that there's not. This is an interesting and touchy topic, because it's, you know, last year, because I made a certain movie, I was shadow banned on Instagram for a little while. But yet, of course, Facebook, in a report that came out again this past week, is that there's certain celebrities that can post whatever they want to. They go into this thing called X check with Facebook and Instagram, to where they are able to violate the terms and conditions. So it's not a clean standard across the board for Facebook and Instagram. So to directly answer that, I would say yes, because not the same rules apply to every single person.
And I think what's so challenging, to Rick's point, is that for those of us on the right, we have been saying this for years, that it's not a clean standard across the board if you are in conservative media. And the challenge that just came out with the Facebook files, I mean, this is going to be one for the books of people who've been saying this, like myself, for years, that X-check what came out this week really affirms the reporting that so many of us have done. And the people that have done that for years have been called crazy right-wing conspiracy theorists. And what's fascinating is that, to Rick's point, X-check says, no, actually, there are two sets of rules. And if you are on the side of the rules that we are not in favor of, well, tough luck for you.
And just so our audience members are up to date, Kristen, you're referencing several lawmakers being banned from social media sites, according to those sites, for putting out misinformation. So back to the subject, Lil Nas, Nicki Minaj, and other entertainers have basically said, listen, it is not my job to parent your child. That is your job. Talk about that. I mean, these are celebrities. They're on social media. The fact that this is just kind of like territory you can just roam freely. Rick, you want to jump in there?
For sure. Yeah.
As a parent.
I would agree with that. Right on. And I would agree with that. And this might contradict some things a little bit with most of the people that I typically run with. But with Instagram looking to make an Instagram for kids, I am actually 100% for that. As long as there's certain safeguards put into place, like with Facebook Messenger for kids, you can approve who your kids can talk to. And with Instagram for kids, I would hope there would be, you can approve who they follow. But then it allows that conversation to take place, and you can actually train your kids when they're young. You know, I'm in cybersecurity, I'm in tech. All my kids got phones, iPhones, when they were 7 years old, explicitly for the purpose of saying, I'm going to start you young on how to properly use a phone, what's appropriate over messaging, and just take my responsibility as your dad, as your parent, to train you up in the way that this is before you even turn 13 and get an Instagram account. So you understand what tech can do for you. I think Nicki Minaj is right on point.
Rick, iPhone at 7. You looking to adopt an adult?
I got you. Come on over.
All right, we got to wrap, but Kristen, I want you to get the final word.
The final word here is that we are living in a time of social media surveillance that can either be used in a positive way or it can be used in a negative way. And unfortunately, unless there is some level of government intervention in how these companies are conducting their business on these platforms, we're going to keep seeing these problems play out again and again as PR cover-ups and ultimately PR nightmares. And at some level, the government has to interject.
All right, Rick Jordan, founder of Reach Out Technology and cyber tech expert, joined by Kristen Ruby, also in red, CEO of Ruby Media Group and social media consultant. Thank you both.